Well, hello and welcome, everybody. This is Randy Replay. Brooklyn Beats Football is on the air, and hey, it is online. Lots of stuff to get to rather, before getting you out to Soldier Field. A lot of stuff happened here in Week 3 of the NFL for your Brooklyn Beats. One of the things we're going to get to is scouting the college players coming up in this year's NFL draft. And for our biggest need here at right tackle with Phil Lodeholt retiring at the end of the season, there isn't much to have here. So I do have a surprise for you guys here. Left tackles, as you can see, Max Steeth, rated to go in the second round. He is fifth round talent. 6'6", 315 out of Washington. Cole Crompton, slated to go in the second. He's fourth round talent. And then, as you can see, the right tackle here, the best one that we have scouted so far. He's 6'5", 315 from Montana, and he is slated to go in the sixth round. So that will be, you would think, our sixth round selection. Kyle Heller, 6'7", 339, slated to go in the seventh round. He's seventh round talent. So we're looking to add a couple more bodies here. In second round, he's undrafted. Third round, he's undrafted as well. So the big guy's not doing too good here as far as scouts go. I alluded to a surprise earlier. After we scouted players, we looked at the trading block, and we found somebody from a certain team. Welcome your newest Brooklyn Beat by way of trade, Toby Portilla, the 6'7", 325 right tackle rookie from Buffalo. As you can see, his development is quick. This player earns XP at an above average rate. Great strength, great run block, pretty decent pass block, good impact blocking. So Toby Portilla comes to the Brooklyn Beats by way of trade. Toby Portilla is the number 22nd ranked right tackle in the league based on his overall rating of 76, putting him in the top 15% of right tackles for the entire league. So we hit a pretty good guy here. Stamina is 84, injury is 90, which we don't really have a problem with injuries on the offensive line, as I knock on the desk up here in the booth. And then the toughness, of course, of 83. But if it happens, Toby Portilla could step in. We also signed Frank Sally, as you might have noticed. But wait a minute. You said we traded for Toby Portilla. Wouldn't he be on the active roster? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I will explain this whole trade to you as it went down. So, we went to the trade block, and we have seen the Steelers having Toby Portilla. We bundled Xavier Howard, a 2019 fifth-round pick, and a 2020 third-round pick for Toby Portilla and the Steelers' 2019 second-round draft pick. They needed a corner. We tried to make it work as best as we could without giving up too much. I feel as though we did a good thing. So then we released Frank Sally from the practice squad, signed Toby Portilla to the practice squad, signed Watts Gallery from the practice squad. Of course, the wide receiver Watts Gallery. Not sure if he's going to see any playing time today. He might just be a kick returner. I don't think he's going to fill in for Jesse Peterson at all today, but anyway, he's on the active roster. And then we re-signed Frank Sally. So a big string of moves here in Week 3 for your Brooklyn Beats. So we trade with the Steelers. And now we will go ahead and take a look at those draft picks that we have accumulated coming into this year's draft. So your Brooklyn Beats. Oh my heavens. If the draft were to start today, we would get the sixth round pick, or the sixth overall selection. It's only 3 games into the season. Don't get too excited. So we have 1 in the first round, 2 in the second round by way of Pittsburgh, 2 in the third round by way of Washington for, I do believe, our left guard that retired during the offseason, during the switch over to Brooklyn from Minnesota. My heavens, what a disaster that was. 2 in the fourth, another from Washington. 1 in the fifth, 2 in the sixth, and then 7th. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 draft picks here in this year's NFL draft. And that's not including what we did last year, was trade our first couple rounds. We traded down and back even out of the first round last season, I do believe. And then, of course, next year, losing out on that third round, but if I know Ron Barr, he will get that pick back for us. I've wasted enough of your time. There is a big rumor going around that I will share with you at the end of the game. So be sure to stay tuned. Sit back as we are going to take in your Brooklyn Beats against the Chicago Bears from Soldier Field. And hey, this is a big game. This is a battle for the first place in the NFC North. Somebody is going to take the lead in this division. Who will it be? This has been Randy Replay. I will see you at halftime.
Hello, everyone. I'm Larry Ridley, and this is the NFL on EA Sports. Fasten your seatbelts for one of the great divisional rivalries in the NFL. This is the first of 2 games between these teams this year, and you know it's going to be entertaining. It's the Beats going up against the Bears. So let's send you up to Chicago, where we'll say hello to Brandon Guyton and Charles Davis.
All right, thank you much, Larry. EA Sports coverage of the NFL brings us to one of our favorite spots, venerable Soldier Field in Chicago. Today, we've got a good NFC matchup on tap between the Brooklyn Beats and the Chicago Bears. With Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Guyton. And Charles, you look at this Bears team entering play. And losers their last time out, so they'll look to make amends here.
And one of the best ways you can do that is to be at home, and they are. They're going to try and ride that home crowd and that wave of emotion to a victory in this one.
Meanwhile, for Brooklyn, our visitors, they were winners last time out, so they'll be looking, Charles, to make it 2 in a row.
And what I enjoyed when I watched their game tape and their victory last week is they put it together in every phase. Good offense, good defense, and some key plays on special teams. Let's see if they can get that second win in a row.
So here are the Bears now for their opening drive. And we get a glance here at their leader, the man who will be calling the plays under center. Now a shotgun snap as they'll look to throw. He's going to find his running back. It's complete. And now it looks like we're going to get a timeout here. We've got a man shaken up. While the training staff takes a peek, we'll take a break. Sixth-round pick in 2014, Pat O'Donnell on to punt. Oh, he'll field it in the end zone. Good blocking there, nearly sprung him. As it is, it'll go as a 19-yard return. And out will come the offense as they take over. So out comes the offense now with a long field ahead of them. And a look at a guy, definitely got a little razzle-dazzle to him.
Play or move to influence the defensive front to go in that direction and create the space back in the other side and block it appropriately. But you're exactly right. Didn't move him. Sat there waiting for him and made the play.
And that one results in 35 yards.
The best passing attacks in the NFL often incorporate the guys out of the backfield catching the football. And that's what we just got on that play. As a primary receiver, not always just a check down, not always a safety valve. Sometimes they just get it to him right away because they have the matchup advantage. Third down.
Yep, they're in the nickel. He'll drop to throw. Oh, a scrap for the football, and he's going to come down with it. The 21 yards there as they convert on third. Now they'll switch it up here and look to throw. He rifles one that's intercepted. Adrian Amos with a pick. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back.
Brandon, this is why golfers do their best to never count a score in their head before the ball goes in the cup. This looked like a slam dunk for points on this drive, didn't it? Instead, they throw an interception, and they're going to come away empty.
Now a play fake here on first down. Now that'll be tipped and intercepted. A great read, and it's picked off. And his guys are going to take over at their own 48-yard line.
This interception will go on the record of the quarterback, but as a receiver, you've got to understand where you are in the field. Middle portion, you know it's going to come in hot. Square your body to the quarterback and be ready to make the catch.
Now,
And you can put pressure on them and make it tough. That's only going to help.
nowhere to go here. He lost the football. And this is picked up by the Bears. And he's able to get it back to the 41-yard line.
Defense. A penalty is declined.
The defensive line, though, they've got to figure out a way to out-leverage the guys up front because the offensive line is winning at the point of attack.
And he cuts it right sideline. And he takes this one in for a Bears touchdown. Jeremy Langford, his first touchdown here of the new campaign. And the Bears have taken the early lead.
Well, partner, that was another explosive run, and one thing I've learned in our time in this game, yes, the offensive line, you nailed every part of what was frustrating. Down on the scoreboard,
and this will be caught at the 30. And all the way in for the touchdown. Their dangerous wide receiver, his 4th touchdown on the year. And his guys are an extra point away from tying this thing up. And that is how you retaliate after getting scored on one play, big pass downfield, and you hit the end zone.
almost feels like two boxers just throwing haymakers at each other, doesn't it? One connects with a big one, the other comes right back. Okay, I'll show you. And they attacked right back on the first.
A give to the fullback on the dive. And he's going to have a first down as he's brought down at the 44-yard line. A touchdown apiece here in this first quarter of play. 7-all is the score. EA Sports NFL Sunday returns following this.
This presentation of the NFL on EA Sports is brought to you by Snickers. You're off your game when you're hungry.
Give him a lot of credit for being really precise with it.
Got rid of it. No one got it. And he will take this one in for a touchdown. Their dangerous wide receiver. His first touchdown of the new season. And his guys have taken the lead. As a former DB, you might not like to see that, but from a wide receiver's perspective, those are the plays they dream of. Looking to throw. And over the middle to the tight end, Bennett. And he fumbled it. It's on the ground. They find some open field here. It's going the other way. And he's going to bring the fumble back for a touchdown. So the defense forces the fumble. They get the score. And a guy on defense becoming offensive there, Charles.
And you know they love that. Any guy on defense loves to pick up the ball and have it in his hands and try and score himself. In this case, that's exactly what happened.
We'll be singing in the shower postgame. The call is to go for one and kick the extra point. It's good, and it is now 21-7.
Come back and get him the next time.
Off the play fake, he'll look to throw. Looking for Jeffrey, and it's intercepted. A great read, and it's picked off.
The air, it almost turns into slow. Breath wondering whether it's going to go good or bad for your team.
It's a gain of 9 yards, and it'll be fourth down.
Now that's going to be a tough one to explain when they get together and watch the game film, isn't it? I mean,
on third down, he'll drop to throw, surveying the field. And that is incomplete. Jeremy Langford, the one he was looking to get it to. And fourth down coming up. Now we've got a field goal coming up here for Chicago. This from 42 yards out. And Coons connects on this one. It's good. And that will close the gap down to 14.
For the ball, I say commit to the run and think about it being 4-down territory.
He'll look, and he will take it in for the touchdown. Their big-bodied receiver. His first touchdown here of the new campaign. And his guys find a way to stretch that lead.
I heard a coach talk about those late-in-the-half scores, especially ones that give your team a pretty decent cushion. He said those could be the ones that can finish off a squad if you let them.
He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. Pulled in at the 24. So we reach halftime in what's been a fairly one-sided game so far. As we'll send you down to Orlando as we check in with Larry Ridley and our EA Sports Halftime Report. Larry?
Thanks, Brandon. I'm Larry Ridley, and welcome to our EA Halftime Report. The Bears came into today's game after a rough showing a week ago, and it's been more of the same. The Beats are trying to stay on the attack and are not allowing the momentum to shift away from them. All right, let's get it going. Let's roll those first half highlights.
And with that, the first half of Week 3 action has come to a close, and this is Ready to Replay. Welcoming you back up into the broadcast booth. So a very, very good first half for both the defense and the offense. Offensive line play could be a little better, but we will take what they have been giving us. We're going to get into the player stat leaders for your Brooklyn Beats. Kenny Erickson, a near-perfect day with a quarterback rating of 131.2. He is 15 for 21 currently. That is 71% completion percentage for those of you that didn't know how to do math or didn't look over here. 251 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. The interception was a crossing route to Luis Gonzalez in the end zone. It was just picked off, so a heads-up play there by Adrian Amos, a guy who has been just not the greatest to us in this series for sure. Him and a couple other players in the Bears secondary. Rushing leaders, Sam Gable and Justin Vanderschaff each have 6 carries in the game. Gable edging Vanderschaff, though, with the runs per carry average of 5.1 to 3.5 and a 10-yard difference of 31 to 21. Matthew Peterson is in second place with carries. Actually, it should be Travis Parker. Weird. Matthew Peterson is 2 for 5, and Travis Parker with 2 for 14. Danny Hendricks, the Super Bowl MVP. Not getting off the ground there. Anthony Bisbee leads the team in receptions with 4 for 50 yards and a touchdown. Darian Wilson, 3 for 51. Josh Gable, 3 for 21. And then the honorable mention, Lou Wang with 2 for 14 and a touchdown. But leading the charge in the yardage department is Luke Slazewski. Just 1 catch in the game. It came in the first quarter with a touchdown off of a 71-yard bomb. Of course, as you see, 30 yards. And we have a Josh Gable drop in the first half. Nobody cares about blocking, so we're going to go to defense and look at total tackles. And Mr. Mukwa leads with 5, followed by Robert Nichols and Jawan Winters, rather. Tackle for losses, we have 3 by Josiah Russell, Winters, and Ward. Sacks, none yet. We have gotten back to the quarterback, but he's always throwing it away. Interceptions, however, we have 2, 1 by G. Mukwa and 1 by Robert Nichols, which was returned for 23 yards. I know we have a forced fumble by Scott Rethwell, picked up by Justin Lewis, and ran back 34 yards for the touchdown. No block kicks, no safeties, and 1 defensive touchdown for your Brooklyn Beats through the first half of play here. We're going to get you back out to kickoff and the conclusion of this one. Who will take the NFC North going into Week 4? And do you see Smeagol or Blair Whiting here? We're going to take a look at the depth chart. Healthy quarterbacks aplenty. Blair Whiting, the 2-year man, the 6'6", wearing number 18, or do you see Smeagol in this game? You have to wonder, with a 21-point lead going into the third quarter, can the running game get back on to the par for the course? I know the offensive line has some struggles with being out there so long that they have becoming winded very, very early on in the drives, forcing big third down plays by Anthony Bisbee and the rest of the wide receivers. We're going to get you back out to kickoff. This has been Randy Replay. I'll see you after the game.
Both teams appear ready for the fight ahead, and we resume action here in quarter number 3. This is taken just shy of the 10 here. And now the rookie's free. The 20, 10, touchdown. Their dangerous wide receiver with his first career NFL touchdown. And his guys are going to add on to their lead. And you've used the phrase with me before, pressing the kicking game. What exactly does that mean? Because they did it there.
It means focusing on it, all aspects of it, because it's the third part of the game. Offense, defense, special teams. If you press the kicking game, create an advantage, make a big play, it often leads to victory.
Randy Replay back again. That didn't take very long. With a live look in, we're going to see Watts Gallery with his first NFL kick return. That goes for a 90 or 89-yard touchdown. Look at the conjunction of people there. Just people taking care of their blocks. Robert Nichols throwing the most important block. As you can see right there, Mr. Robert Nichols throwing the most important block to his left. May have well, I don't think so. But and then Watts Gallery with the speed, zigzagging through 3 tackles, and nobody is within 10 yards of him at any point. 9 yards, I should say. Well, Watts Gallery, the rookie. Imagine coming out of college and your first experience in the NFL is a touchdown. And he was fired up going to the sidelines. And make sure that you save that ball for him, because that is a hell of an achievement. Good going, Watts Gallery. This has been Randy Replay for a live look in. I will see you after the game.
Green 39. They'll look to throw here on first down. Jeffrey with a catch left side. And he takes this one in for a Bears touchdown. Alshon Jeffrey, his first touchdown of the new season.
It's an even front. You've got to control those guys in the middle, whether it's the nose or the 2 defensive tackles in a form.
And he is into the end zone for a touchdown. A great play there. His 3rd touchdown now on the year. And his guys find a way to stretch that lead. And Charles, when you catch that toss going right or left, really, but right in this instance, do you go straight for the pylon? Is that where you're going?
Well, typically you want to try and maneuver people a little bit so you have some space.
And it is good. Oh, that one looked to be in trouble the whole way, but it does get over the bar.
And they're route running savvy.
And it's first and goal now, but still 10 yards to go. And he is in. Touchdown, Chicago. Saw at the line to go there?
Possibly in the game plan, and you notice they went with an empty backfield. No backs there to help with pass protection. So yeah.
And this is caught. It's White for a Bears touchdown. Kevin White of work left to do, but here comes the onside kick. Oh, did the Bears get it? They did. Chicago football. Cost them, the kicking team gets the football here. They'll come out throwing here to start the drive. It's grabbed over the middle by White. 20. Touchdown, Chicago. Kevin White with 2 touchdowns on the season, both in this game. And this one won't bounce their way. It's covered up by the hands team. Well, Charles, it's one thing to win. It's another thing to win and put up the amount of points that they did. Boy, were they clicking on offense.
They can't help but feel great about themselves, can they? I mean, what a game to put up that number of points, continually feeling like they're moving the ball and things are working and clicking. They think that they can bottle this and carry it with them.
And as an offensive coordinator, you just don't think you can do anything wrong. Whatever you call, run, pass, it's all going to work.
That's called being in the zone.
So for Brooklyn, it's back-to-back victories now after the Week 1 defeat as they move to 2-1. And they'll have another road date next week with the Miami Dolphins. Meanwhile, for Chicago, they'll fall to 1-2. And they'll try to get back to their winning ways next week as they head to Santa Clara to take on the 49ers. So that'll do it for us. For my partner, Charles Davis, and all the hard-working men and women on our crew, I'm Brandon Gaudin. You've been watching the NFL right here on EA Sports. With that, we say so long from Soldier Field.
And with that so long, we welcome you back into the broadcast booth. The score was very different at one point in this game. As you can see, we just owned the clock, but three. Well, yeah, 3 touchdowns there at the end. This game at one point was 48-16, and then we let in 3 fourth quarter touchdowns, and they make it within 11. So, we're going to get into these player stats. We'll get you back to the main screen, and I will give you the rumor that has been swirling around Brooklyn Beats camp. Kenny Erickson ends the day with a QB rating of 131.2. He didn't play too much of the second half as Smeagol comes in during that time. He was 15 for 21. That is 71% completion percentage. For those of you that don't know how to do math, we're doing look over here. 251 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. As I alluded to earlier, a couple seconds ago, Smeagol enters the game. He was 1 for 2. That is 50% completion percentage. For those of you that don't know how to do math or didn't look over here. 9 yards on 1 play. 1 pass, and then the other one on a big third down was dropped by Cameron Quick. He was open, and he dropped it on the way down to the ground, leading to the only Taylor Pauline punt, which we will get to later. He threw it twice, didn't have to do much work as we had the lead, and we were just running the clock out, quite literally, as you see here. Justin Vanderschaft, 19 carries, 83 yards, and a touchdown. Sam Gable, 14 carries, 54 yards. Matthew Peterson, 5 carries, 21 yards. Had a lot of carries there on in the second half. There, Travis Parker, 4 for 16. Danny Hendricks, 4 for 29. And Kenny Erickson, 1 for 13. Receiving, Anthony Bisbee led the team. Not too much throwing here in the second half. 4 for 50 and a touchdown. Darian Wilson, 3 for 51. Josh Gable, 3 for 21. Lou Wang, 2 for 14 and a touchdown. Sam Gable, 1 for 9. Travis Lee, 1 for 9. Luke Slazewski, 1 for 71 and a touchdown. Justin Vanderschaft, 1 for 35. Dropped passes. Cameron Quick and Josh Gable each had 1. And the Cameron Quick one would have given him a catch, but that was on the big third down that he dropped. Nobody cares about blocking, so we're going to go to defense. Look at total tackles. And the man who was injured, 2 secondary positions injured in this game. Chimaco with 8 tackles. Juwan Winters with 5, rather. Robert Nichols, Kevin Stark, Aaron Nelson, Xavier Rhodes, Josiah Russell, Thaddeus Rosu, Jacob Pickering, and Drew Ward each split 4. Otis McMillan, Danny Pickering, Paul Fritchie each with 3. Tevin Fair, Justin Lewis, Matthew Arnsdorf, Ryan Below, Josh Fitzer with 2. Dan Nolte, Thomas Cross, Jeremy Lindsay, Sean Clausen, Richard Southey, Terrell Oliver, Scott Rethwell, Matthew Peterson, Anthony Bisbee, Zachary Anderson, Luis Gonzalez each had 1. Sacks, we added a sack. Tevin Fair. There. Interceptions, we added another by Robert Nichols with a good heads-up play. Ran that back for 23 yards. Pass deflections, we had 2 by Matthew Arnsdorf and Xavier Rhodes. Rhodes led to the interception of Chimakwa. Forced fumbles. 1 by Tevin Fair, 1 by Scott Rethwell. One of them was recovered by Justin Lewis for a touchdown. No block kicks, no safeties, and 1 defensive touchdown for for your Brooklyn Beats. Okay, so we did have an injury. That was Chimakwa there. Oh, I forgot to do kicking. So as far as kicking goes, Brandon Baker was 2 for 2. That is 100% kicking with the longest of 49, 6 for 6 on extra points. Taylor Pauline had a really easy day. He just had 1 punt for 45 yards, netting 37. Kick return, Watts Gallery. 1 kick return, 89 yards for the touchdown. His first NFL action from Toledo, the rookie, Watts Gallery. And he gets a touchdown. Robert Nichols, 2 kick returns for 60 yards, and Matthew Peterson, 1 for 0 on the onside attempt. That was recovered. Punt returns, Robert Nichols had 3 for 54, longest of 29. We're going to get you back to the main screen, see what happens with the injury to Chimukwa, and see how long he will be out with the broken collarbone. And then we will check up on Zachary Anderson because he was also injured in this game. And we'll see what shakes loose with all of that. And here we are back at the main screen. New Miami Stadium. Looks like the Dolphins got a new stadium, and we will see it next week. Nothing really happening here. Still that player to negotiate the contract. And we are atop the NFC North. Everybody in the division except for Chicago got a win as the Lions move to 1-2, and the Packers down there at the bottom of the barrel move to 1-2. So we're on top, but we have a divisional game coming up in 2 weeks, so we need to take care of the Dolphins, and then we can talk about the basement-dwelling Detroit Lions. But before we can do that, we need to talk about the injuries. Oh, my heavens. Okay. So the cornerback position of Zachary Anderson, there we go. He hurt his back. Looks like he'll be okay, but Chimukwa is not okay as he suffers a broken collarbone. Very, very popular in this series as far as injuries goes. Or injuries go, rather. He'll be out for 5 weeks, so he will be out until week 10. Week 9 or 10, he'll be able to come back. And then Jesse Peterson, suffering from the same injury, he is out until 3 weeks from now, which would be week 7. So yeah, just a very unfortunate injury. So that just means Thaddeus Rosu is going to have to step up as he will get all of the strong safety carries, or all of the load that comes off with the strong safety minutes there. So that is going to be very, very tough as we utilize the practice squad for strong safeties in case he has to go on the injured reserve. We have Rashad Huntington, who played very, very good this preseason. I think he had a couple interceptions. And then Henry Lober, who has stuck around here for the I almost said Vikings again. Henry Lober that has stuck around for the Brooklyn Beats. And if you look, we have Tony Portilla and I want to say that's Tony Spikes. Tyree Spikes, sorry. A big rookie at 6'3", 310, 92 strength, 83 run block, yada, yada, yada. So eventually these guys will get called up as this offensive line is very, very old as far as age goes. The right tackle position, Phil Lodeholt, and then the left tackle, Luis Vasquez. Of course, we drafted for the position, but due to some other roster issues, we were unable to remain or keep him on the roster. We had to cut him, but we add him, no I don't, to the practice squad. So the rookie Tyree Spikes, ready to be called up whenever, wherever. And then, yeah, so you got to prepare for the Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins, in their new stadium. That's what we'll be doing this week. Once again, your Brooklyn Beats are victorious and move to the top of the division at 2-1 against the Chicago Bears, 48-37. Be sure to tune in next time as we take on the Miami Dolphins in their new stadium. It's a noon kickoff. This has been Randy Replay, signing off. Hey, see ya.